It's so annoying. My live stream went down. Now I have to redo everything. I had like 17 viewers and now they're gone. So let me real quick repost this to my fucking Tumblr. How annoying. I am so bad at the internet and I am not having a good day. So great. Let me just pull this shit up again. God damn it. I had people waiting. I'd had that queued all day long, and I tried to remove the chat, and it's like it completely cut things off. I'm a fucking moron. Oh, okay, one moment, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm like literally so out of it. The um Okay, god damn it. Okay, 9 people are back. God bless you for following me over here because I am technologically deficient. Obviously, since I got fired, obviously there's something wrong with me in technology. Yeah, so super cool. I'm just gonna say at the top of this live stream, for legal reasons, that I have never disclosed on any social media platform which company I work for. I'm not gonna or worked for. Don't work there anymore. I've never disclosed which company I worked for. I'm not gonna disclose that in this live stream. I'm not going to be making any defamatory statements about any people. You're not going to know what company I'm talking about. And I have to say that because I'm going to have to sign some legal paperwork that if I want my severance, I have to like very strictly not defame the company that I worked for across any social media. Now, I don't think that the company that I work for would ever find my YouTube account or my Tumblr blog, which have always been anonymous, but you know, I haven't even said on like Facebook or anything which fucking company I work for, so it's whatever. And yeah, I'm not sober anymore. I'm sober-ish. I have drank about 4 times since Christmas. I found that now that I'm being adequately treated for my bipolar disorder, I like no longer possess the desire to get drunk. So I've just been having like 1 or 2 drinks. I even went to a wedding. I didn't get drunk. But you know what? Tonight, we might just get there. This is, I'm not trying to make this a crash out stream, but here we go. Okay. And I'm gonna be like half watching this on my computer too, so that I can make sure I see the chat. Let's see here. Go live. Make a job. Thank you for following me over here. Oh my god, Lindy Ann, I'm so sorry. I'm late. My mom and I were discussing my life and she finally hung up on me. No, it's cool. Like the original live stream got taken down anyway. Is my aspect ratio fucked for anybody else? Do I look insane right now? Hello, I hope you're okay. I'm okay. I'm whatever. Because when I'm looking at my live stream on my YouTube, I look crazy. It's aesthetic backgrounds, back rooms, but you do look distorted. A little compressed, but not terrible. Okay, I have backup. I don't know why that would be. That's so odd. Whatever. I can't do anything about it now. My phone is shit. My life is shit. Ugh. It's not a filter, I swear. Guys. So, next week is 1 year since the apartment fire that ruined my life. Let's see. Good job said, the main question of the night, where is King Binks? Also, Mama Lindy, this guy got fired from my casino job yesterday. You're not alone. Oh, well, to answer your first question, he is right here and very, very annoying. So here he is. Look upon him. That's a good Binks face. Okay. And I'm really sorry that you got fired too. It is the worst. Do I need more light? Like, what is going on in here? Can I settings, quality? Can I move it to 1080p? What is going on here? Anyway. So everything's been going pretty good at my job, actually. I've been thinking about leaving because they don't pay me enough. And so I've been kind of like looking into other options, but then I was like, you know what? This place is walking distance from my apartment. I like the kind of company that it is. And I am just going to, it's just going to be too costly mentally and emotionally for me to move jobs. I'm still stabilizing after my bipolar episode. So you know what? I'm just going to stick with it. And then this morning, my manager has been out for 4 months. I'm reporting to the person who is my boss's boss's boss. And so she pulled me into a meeting this morning, 10 a.m., ostensibly to discuss my new supervisor. And we're in there for 20 seconds, and then the head of HR joins the meeting unexpectedly. And my boss's boss's boss, who has not been supervising me, I've had no supervisor. We haven't done one-on-one since my manager left 4 months ago. Says, well, so I've brought the HR lady in here because we just want to talk about your productivity. We've been noticing some productivity problems. And so I'm thinking, okay, great. So they're going to put me on a PIP or something. This is like kind of out of the blue. They've never talked to me about this before. Like, I've only had positive feedback from every manager I've ever had at this company. They've been telling me I'm a rock star. They've been telling me that you're one of the real workers. You have so much to do. You have too much to do. We're going to start offloading some of your tasks to other people because you just have so much to do. And so I'm like, okay, great. Well, thanks a lot, boss. So you pulled the HR lady in here. You're going to put me on a PIP. This is the first conversation we've had about it, but I'm just like, okay, so the HR lady appears. I'm just like, okay. Did you about your shit your pants when the HR face popped in? I thought it could be one of two things. I thought it could be a PIP, or since I have a new supervisor and I have an ADA accommodation, I had requested that I could have a meeting with HR and the new supervisor to discuss the specifics of my ADA accommodation, because I didn't want to have that conversation by myself with my new supervisor, right? So HR lady pops in and I'm like, okay, don't panic, but oh my God. And then my boss starts talking about productivity and I'm like, oh, great, so you're gonna put me on a PIP, that's great. And she was like, okay, so here are the things that she cited for my lack of productivity. A list of tasks I was given about 6 months ago, right before I went into the mental hospital and had to take a month of medical leave to do a partial hospitalization program because of my bipolar episode. And then when I came back from that, I didn't get that list of tasks done fast enough. Okay, and that was 6 months ago. And then The other thing that she cited about my job performance was like 3 weeks ago, I accidentally made a double payment to a supplier, which I caught right away. I told on myself, I reported it immediately, and came up with a solution about how we were going to deal with this double payment that I made to somebody. Right? And those were the two things she cited. And she said that my job performance just wasn't matching my title. And so today is my last day at the company. So no, I'm not getting put on a PIP. I'm getting fired now. Today is my last day. And not only that, but this meeting started at 10 a.m. So my boss just leaves the meeting. I go through a bunch of paperwork with HR. I'm like dissociated. I'm like barely even listening to her, you know? And so she's like going over, I get a couple weeks severance if I sign a paper that says that I won't litigate against the company. Which once again, I am not naming the company. I am not naming any of these people. But I don't know. I think it's a little suspicious that those were the only things they could point to about my job performance, and I just so happen to have needed medical leave and still have an ADA accommodation. I don't know. Can't prove it. But I think it's pretty odd that they have never given me any feedback, any negative feedback. I have never gotten a, hey, this needs to get done, or a, hey, you're kind of falling behind in this, or hey, this, you're not really measuring up in this area. I really need you to focus on that. Never. But today, 10 a.m. on a Friday, they pull me into a meeting, cite two things that have happened over the past 6 to 8 months, and they say today is your last day. And so boss leaves. I'm talking to the HR lady. She gave me some legal paperwork to sign, so I can get 4 weeks severance if I sign a paper that says that I won't sue the company for wrongful termination, basically. Which, I mean, fuck it, I'm just gonna have to do. Not like I've got lawyer money, right? And then they were like, okay, it's snake behavior, yes. And yes, they can fire me on the spot. Minnesota is an at-will state, meaning that I can quit at any time for any reason, and they can fire me on the spot for any reason. It said, well, and you have a good work ethic. If they would have brought this shit to you as something to improve on, you would have out in the effort. It seems fishy as fuck. Put in the effort. Yes, no, exactly. Hey, if you had maybe brought any of these concerns to me instead of just, I don't know, passive aggressive, sniping about me behind my back or whatever, if you had pointed out where I needed to improve, I could have put some energy in that direction. But as far as I knew, I was doing great at work. I am completely blindsided by this. So the HR lady, she's like showing me all this paperwork, and like explaining that they're not going to pay out any of the PTO I have, none of the sick time I have. I don't get any of that money. I've got one more paycheck coming to me, and then essentially 2 paychecks in severance, so long as I sign this document saying I'm not going to sue the company. And so the meeting ended. And at like 10:30, 10:45, and they were like, okay, now we want you to bring all of your shit, because Friday's a work from home day. They were like, get your computer, get all your shit, bring it to the office by noon. I just pack your shit, bring it in right now, leave your keys. Do you need a cardboard box to get the shit from your desk? They were like, we can get you a cardboard box. I was like, no, that's fine. That's fine. And so I just stood up from the meeting, put on my pants, went to the office, gave them my computer after deleting as many of my personal files from it as I could before IT literally locked my profile and I could no longer do anything on the computer. They locked my profile like almost immediately after I got out of this meeting. And so I just stood up, put on pants, like went to the office, dropped off my shit, picked up my little cactus and my, and my emergency tampons and umbrella from my desk and just walked out, and that's it. And now it's over. No more job. No more job. Make a job said, Mama Lindy, they had you sign that under duress and many attorneys will it work pro bono? In your case, sounds strong. I would pursue it. I haven't signed it yet. If I want to get it, if I want to get the first severance package like a regular paycheck, I have to sign it by Monday, but I don't have to sign it for 14 days, but that means that it'll delay. That means that I won't be able to pay rent for May, basically, if I delay signing it 2 weeks. And so I'm just gonna go back to the chat here. Yeah, we can get you a cardboard box, Mama Lindy. I fear you live in an HBO series about a woman living her truth. They were like, do you need a box? Oh, thank you so much, HR lady. That is so considerate of you to offer me a fucking box. I logged into work this morning thinking I had a career, and out of nowhere, with no warning, I no longer have a job, which I need. Oh, and because my health insurance, like most Americans, is through my employer, I don't have any health insurance after this month either. It's cool. I just have bipolar disorder that I need doctors and medications for. Otherwise, I might wind up back in the fucking mental hospital where I was 6 months ago. But like, hey, cool. No health insurance. Yeah. That's so evil and violent. What the fuck? Yes, it is. It is evil and violent. Just remember, these companies do not give a shit about you. They do not give a shit about you. What the fuck, dude? Yeah, I know. I know. It was so considerate of them. Cruel system indeed. What am I missing here? I'm missing something, guys. I'm missing my vape. Where did I put her? This is an emergency. Let's go for a walk. Okay, we're gonna go for a walk around my apartment. Oh! What would a Lindy live stream be if I didn't drop you on the floor at least once? If you have any way to find an attorney pro bono, please sue the ever-loving shit out of them. Here's the thing, is that it's legal what they did, and I can't prove that it's because of my ADA accommodation. And I have heard from other people who are disabled, who had to take medical leave, that basically, they'll wait a couple months after whatever it is, even if you continue to need accommodations, they'll wait a couple months so that they can fire you and it won't look directly related, but it is. And once again, I'm not saying the name of the company, I'm not defaming anyone, and I'm not implying anything because you don't know where I worked. Yeah, dumb box to make it look like that's not the reason, and their ass is safe. Exactly. And that's cool. Hey, you know what else? Let's see. Don't tell me it's Chase Bank you worked for, because if it is, I'll have to withdraw my... No, I didn't work for a bank. Oops. Ooh, I don't want to narrow it down too much, but no, I didn't work for a bank. But I work in accounting, so I like I said something on my blog yesterday about making wire transfers. It's because I work in accounting, so I make payments for the company, basically. So yeah, also cool. No, I can't say who it is, because part of the legal document I have to sign is that I can't make any defamatory statements about the employer online, in order to receive my severance. When one door closes, another one opens. Yeah, they just went ahead and kicked the door to poverty wide open for me again. I love being poor. I lived in poverty for so long, and this this oh, thank you. Yeah, okay, I got you, Taylor. Um, it's literally all just about profits. There's no humanity. Yeah, you're right. And so anyway, also cool was that since they gave me a 1 hour notice, is essentially that I was fired and I had to bring in my computer, and it was a work from home day, I didn't get to say goodbye to anybody that I worked with. Just like all these people who I've been working with for 1.5 years, some of whom I really like. Just no goodbye. Just bye, I guess. And I'm not allowed to talk to any current employees. That's another part of my legal contract that I have to sign to get this fucking severance. So yeah. So I'm having a great day. And yeah, didn't get to say goodbye to anybody. Just fuck me. Bye. And you know what else is crazy? Is I don't know what the. Let's see here. Taylor, that's crazy. Andy, did you get to ask the boss where the F the feedback was? No. I didn't actually, because I was fired, I didn't get an exit interview. I didn't get to give any feedback at all. I love living in this country. Make a job. I just know all the gays in the office are in mourning over losing Queen Lindy, pillar of the gay. You know what? There weren't very many gays. There weren't. And that should have been my first clue. That this was not the place for me. Those restrictions are absolutely wild. I know, right? We had one non-binary person and a couple lesbians, but they were in different departments. I was the entire LGBT representation of the finance department. And you know what else? Oh my god. Okay. So you think that's cruel? Let me tell you about the week I just had at work. So, whole time I've been working there, this place, again, I can't go into specifics, but this place is in a really beautiful building. But they had the entire finance department in a very tiny white room, can't see any of the beautiful building. And last week they announced that we're moving. We get to go to the beautiful part of the building. Not only are we going to the beautiful part of the building, but we're going to sit where the executives used to sit, the nicest spots in the building with the best views, gorgeous. So on Tuesday, I worked in the office Tuesday through Thursday, Monday and Friday we worked from home, right? So on Tuesday, I'm at my desk, I'm getting all my shit, I'm putting it in a backpack, I moved to my beautiful new desk, they have me on this seating chart, and I'm just talking with all of my work friends about how excited I am that, we get to work in this new room, and they sat me next to the person who I like the most. And I'm thinking, you know what, this is all right. I was thinking about maybe leaving because they didn't pay me very well, but I'm romantic at heart. I'm swayed by aesthetics. I like working someplace beautiful. And so I get all my stuff, I hang up all my shit in my cubicle, right? And then on Tuesday, My new supervisor was starting on Wednesday, so my boss who fired me on Tuesday brought me into a meeting and was like, okay, well, I'm so excited for you to meet your new supervisor. This is her name. Tomorrow's her first day. Your other manager who's been on maternity leave, she's coming back on April 14th. So we're gonna be a full team again finally, and I'm so excited to move forward, blah, blah, blah. Wednesday, I meet my new supervisor. She's shadowing me. I'm like showing her all the shit I do. I think I'm smooth talking the shit out of this lady. I'm like really selling myself, like how competent I am. I'm showing her all of my process documentation. I'm like, I have ADHD. I can't remember shit. So if I don't write it down, I can't remember it. So I am like the note taker, the process documenter. I wrote the SOPs for several systems that we use. Okay. And I was telling her about all this systems experience that I have, and she was like, oh my gosh, your notes are amazing. I always have wanted to be able to do that. And I was like, oh, well, at my last job, people would literally call me and have me write their emails because writing is my strongest suit. And we're kikiing, you know, she's telling me stuff about her life, blah, 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 blah. And then Thursday I went in, it was, we were, you know, everybody was like, all the morale was boosted. We were sitting in this like nice new area. And then, so Thursday, last work day in the office, Friday morning, the boss who told me how excited she was to move into the future had by the time she had that meeting with me, had already set up this Friday morning meeting where she fired me. Same day, 2 hours, get your shit back in the office. We're never going to see you again. Lord have mercy. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go back and read the message. Sam Hine said, if it's any comfort, if they're making desperate measures and cutting loose employees like you, it means they're in trouble. Company likely won't last long. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. Not only because they are fucked without me, because I know how much work I was doing throughout the week. I know that only I know the systems that I was operating. And by the way, I'm the person who pays the bills. I literally do the uploads to the bank to pay the suppliers, to keep the lights on, to buy all of our products. That's my job. So good luck with that. Ratbat said, my friend got fired on April Fool's Day with no warning or like prior warnings. It's so bullshit. It should be illegal. They should have to give you like a couple of months severance, not you know, 2 extra paychecks. And I'm lucky that they're even offering me a severance because I'm not a salaried employee. I was an hourly employee. And he said, wait, maternity leave lady is coming back. They got a full house and now they can afford to ditch the woman who kept the lights on and more. No, right. Because I have been working without a manager, without a supervisor for 4 months. I'm the only person doing the work that I do. I was the entire department. So now that they got the manager coming back, fuck the workhorse, right? John Ono said, yeah, the dishonesty and all this stuff is the most upsetting. Went through something similar earlier this year. These rats, these fucking bastards. I mean, it's not like I need this money to survive. You know, this has been a really difficult year for me financially for a lot of reasons, not least of which was being hospitalized, missing a month of work because I had to be in the hospital. And then the bills for the hospital, I had to pay, I just make a withdrawal from my retirement fund just to keep my head above water. I moved. I had to buy all like my shit got damaged at my old apartment. I had to buy all new furniture. My car broke down. I owed $700 in taxes. There was Christmas. I just spent $1,400 to go to Philadelphia for 48 hours because my best friend from college got married. I am hemorrhaging money right now, and now I'm fired. Great. Ugh. It's so gross. Companies expect us to give so much, give up so much to work for them and then drop us like it's fucking nothing. No, exactly. It really sucks. Thank you. It does. It really sucks. And like, everybody in my life who knows me in real life knows that I have gone through some very crazy periods over the past year. And they're worried about me because this is a big shock to the system. Just losing my job unexpectedly on a fucking Friday. Make a job. I'm about to make 300 to 400 cash tips and base pay working my casino serving job tomorrow and Easter. Please get a casino job. The chips is like money candy from the customers. Oh, I wish I could, but like in Minnesota, gambling is only legal on like reservations, and so like the nearest casino is like really far away, unfortunately. Plus, I mean, my specialty is finance, you know? And I mean, one good thing about working in accounting is that literally every business needs accounting. Every business pays bills. So, I mean, like, there are a lot of jobs, but the job market is shit right now. You said you love to write, so maybe do freelance writing. I mean, easier said than done. I mean, I've done writing. I've written for like money before, but it's not, I mean, the cost of living being what it is, I'm not going to make enough money as a freelance writer. At least since I was fired, I can file for unemployment, which I looked up on the state of Minnesota website, is $500 a week based on my income. And let's see, my rent and utilities and my student loan come out to about $1,600 a month. So that'll leave me $400 for food and everything else. Unemployment. I'm literally gonna have to start OnlyFans again. Like, I'm gonna have to start doing adult content again or something. Let's see. Andy, wishing you nothing but a higher paying job and an even more stunning office space, and may karma hit them back. Oh, it will. It will. These people are soulless. These fucking bitches that they pull into accounting in the city, they all live miserable, boring lives out in the suburbs. They drive into the city and bitch about it. They're scared to walk around in one of the safer neighborhoods in Minneapolis. They're so frightened. And they just live these weird little lives at home with their husbands and their children. And like, I am a free living city bitch who, like, at least I don't have kids to support, because this would be even worse if I had dependents or something. Ugh. Down with Earth Studios said, I'm also unemployed and can't find anything. I know. I mean, I'm gonna, like, if it comes down to it, I mean, I'll work at Target. I mean, I sold furniture for 8 years. I've worked in food courts. I have worked in assembly lines. I mean, I'll find work, but like, goddamn, the finance pays a lot better. It pays a lot better. $500 a week, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, 500 a week. That's cool. A lot less than I was making, and I was still barely making ends meet. The cost of living and Minneapolis is not even that bad, but it's bad. Dum Box said, you probably qualify for EBT, and your city might have some kind of bill pay help resources you can dig into. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I have all the time in the world to look into it, I'm gonna take as much advantage as I can. I'm gonna just try and like put a pause on my student loan because I'm unemployed right now. So I just need to do like a hardship pause. I don't know how that's gonna affect my credit. Um, Samoan says, "You are the hot tuna in the city. They are Chartle in a porta potty." Eloquently said. Thank you. Yes. I am going to drink more wine. I have to be careful with this wine though, because I took 4 Xanax at 10 o'clock this morning when they started this meeting, and so I have waited a very respectable amount of time. I've waited 11 hours since I took the Xanax. You're not supposed to mix Xanax with alcohol, but I just got to be sure that I don't go into like respiratory failure by drinking too much. So if I start passing out, I'm just gonna really quick say my address and you guys call 911, okay? Yeah, God, I wish I had some Xanax. Yeah, Xanax is a miracle drug. Hey, I take a lot of pills, actually. I take, let me see here. So I have Xanax, I have lamotrigine, which is a bipolar medication. I take Seroquel, which is an atypical antipsychotic, also used for bipolar disorder. I take methylphenidate for my ADHD because otherwise I can't do shit. And the last time I tried to stop taking it, it launched me into a manic episode. And other medications as well. And guess what? I don't have any health insurance after the end of the month. And at my last job, when I quit, because they offer you COBRA insurance, which is like a continuation of the health insurance you already have. And at my last job, after I left, the COBRA insurance was $1,200 a month. So I guess it's crunch time for me to find another job. That's great. And you know what's great also about starting a new job when you have a disability is that they have to hire you outright. I can't temp for a couple months because the temp agency won't give you health insurance. And only once you're hired can you go to HR and say, by the way, I'm covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act and I need accommodations. So I have to go through that whole process again. Taylor said, I take a low dose of Xanax pretty much every work day, and it's incredible. I stop stress vomiting in the morning. Xanax is a miracle drug. I've had doctors tell me that like for people with PTSD, it's like not recommended to like take it forever. But I'm like, well, I will never see you again, doctor. I'm sorry. This drug makes my life okay to live with, and I'm never giving it up. So you can kiss my ass. Ratbat said, lol, my husband is on a similar cocktail, but COBRA is so fucked. It's so expensive. Like, I feel like going without insurance cheaper than using COBRA. It literally is. Because if you don't have insurance, you can go to the pharmacy, and if you're prescribed a medication, like if you try and use your insurance and the insurance won't cover it, it's like $1,200. But then you can go on a coupon web. If you don't use your insurance, you can go on a coupon website, and that same medication will be $60. Samoan says, do you have access to a food pantry to help with food costs? Yeah, girl. Oh, whoa. Okay, the wine is starting to take a little bit of effect. I don't know what that was. Whoa. But, like I said, I lived in poverty for a really long time. So I've got all my poor people tricks down. Like, I can spend negative dollars on anything that's not essential. Like I have eaten from food pantries, I have gone to free church dinners, and I don't mean once or twice, I mean I was living that way for a long time. And so like I'm just gonna have to go, it's time to go back to the old me. Oh gosh. see. Shailene said, depends. I have CPTSD and benzos are just make me sleepy even on low dosage. Yeah, I mean, they're not for everybody. I am a horse when it comes to substances. Like, I know I say this like every live stream, but like I used to smoke crack. Like, I have done heroin. I like not regular. I was never like a regular heroin user. I was a regular crack user for a while. And like, you know, I have used, think of the worst drug a person can do. I've done that one. Okay. And so like, even to this day, like all of my medications are like really high dose because, you know, like I just can take it. Also, I'm big as hell right now. The Seroquel has made me gain like 30 fucking pounds. I'm at 220 these days. I'm a big bitch. Okay. I am 5'9" too. I'm 5'9", 220. I'm the size of a high school linebacker. Okay, and I'm a lady. And anyway, so yeah, I mean the Xanax, it just takes the edge off for me. And for Xanax, that makes me feel calm. Let's see. Share the poor people tricks. Okay, well there's the food pantry. There is, well, I mean, I guess these tricks worked for me because I didn't have a car. There's walking everywhere. There's knowing all the government programs you can go on. There are free cooked meals that you can go to at various Christian churches. Which I'm not a Christian, but I always did appreciate the Christians for feeding me when I was hungry. Like, you really can't fault them for that. They're literally following Christ's message, and I love that for them and for me. And then also, well, here's a really important poor people trick that I cannot use anymore, which is the biggest poor people trick, is to be friends with lots of poor people. Because I saw this really interesting thing one time about the function of social relationships by class. Wealthy people use social relationships for status and connections. Middle-class people use social relationships for love and fulfillment. And poor people, the function of social relationships among poor people is survival. So being charismatic, being funny, being magnetic, being someone that people want to be around and want to talk to and listen to, that's a survival skill for poor people, because sometimes you got to pool the $4 you all have to make a spaghetti dinner. And actually, I don't have access to that anymore. But luckily for me, I mean, I shouldn't say that I'm bereft or anything, because like I do have family, and I do have some friends that will, you know, I'm never gonna be out on my ass on the street ever. So many people would have to die. And not only that, but like I'm drinking wine right now, but I'm not an addiction. I am currently being treated for my bipolar disorder. So like a lot of the issues that I had before aren't going to be an issue this time. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm behind on the chat. Ratbat said, yeah, GoodRx has saved my ass in the past. Yes, GoodRx, they have also saved my ass. One of my most popular posts on Tumblr is about coupon websites for medications. I don't know, it's got like 150,000 notes or something. Survival skills, write about them. I feel like I do. Actually, it's so funny. At this wedding in Philadelphia I went to last month, I actually met two super fans of my blog at this wedding, and one of them was a girl that I went to college with, but like I had no idea she followed my blog. But she was like, you inspire me as someone who wanted to be a creative writer, because you actually you're writing and people are listening. So yeah, we expect updates about this. Michael said, get you a better job with more pay and a better boss. We will manifest it. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to be buying some candles. I already have some crystals, but I have to be careful because one of my manic delusions last year was that there was a demon attached to me because of my family's involvement in the Civil War. So I just got to be careful not to lean too hard into the magical thinking. But Sam said, I wish I had some crack or heroin. Uh, no, we don't. I do wish I could dabble in some cocaine. I always really enjoyed cocaine, but I can't. Like, I really, like, at this wedding I went to last month, I was offered ketamine, I was offered ecstasy, and I had to be like, oops, sorry, I can never do drugs again. Steamboat said, you can enroll in marketplace insurance while waiting for Medicaid, but also being recently fired and then suddenly having to redo all the logistics of your life, you don't get to breathe. Yeah, no shit. It's my full-time job just to survive right now. And like, I'm not taking a break. I'm not saying like, oh, that was a traumatic experience, I'm just gonna take a couple weeks to like regroup. No. No, 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 no. No, I'm on this. I'm on this Monday morning, even before that. This weekend, updating the resume, contacting staffing agencies. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing unemployment. No. Let's see. Rat that. We love a tall girl. Thank you. Styrofoam Pony said, facts, the church will always help me when I need it. Yeah, there are real Christians out there. I love the Christians for that. Like, especially in Minneapolis, I mean, it's not specific to Minneapolis, but Minneapolis is in general like a very like a progressive place, and all of the Christians here are like Unitarians essentially. Minka Job said, Mama Lindy, I'm gonna listen to you as I attack the mountain of laundry. Literal mountain of laundry. I have to try and find black pants. I forgot about what to wear tomorrow. Oh, yeah, do some body doubling. Body double while I'm drinking some Cabernet. I haven't bought a bottle of wine since I started drinking again. I do enjoy a cab. Samoan says, you are awesome, Lindy. Thank you. I appreciate it. I need someone to tell me that today, because this morning I got told, you suck so much that you are fired within 25 minutes and you need to get the fuck out. While I was still in the meeting, I messaged my sisters in the sister chat, I got fired, and they were like, oh my god. And then I talked to them on the phone after I dropped my shit, or dropped my computer and shit off at the office, but also picked up my shit. And then I called my mom when I got home, and my mom cried. Like, when I told her, she's worried about me. Because literally April 11th last year, that's when my apartment building caught on fire. And that is when my entire life exploded. This has been the worst year of my entire life. And of course, there had to be a cherry on top right before the 1-year anniversary of catching on fire. Yeah. Wrap that. Lol, I literally started doing the dishes after watching the stream for a bit. Body doubling is real. Yeah, I gotta find a body doubling buddy. I really do. But I've been doing good with just a day planner. Like, I've embraced planner life this past week, and I'm really glad that I did, because now I feel like I can somehow find my way to new employment. These fucking assholes. I can't believe it. I'm gonna do something sort of chaotic tomorrow. I'm meeting up with an old friend who I had to kick out of my life a couple years ago because he's a scammer. And long story short, he did something terrible and then showed up at my apartment running from the police. And it wasn't even that part. It was that he did something terrible and then was immediately justifying it. And this was after a long unstable period in our friendship. And I was like, you know what? I'm walking away. I'm so sorry. I at least gave him the dignity of really fighting with him first. He knew what the fucking issues were. I didn't just ghost him, unlike this asshole who ghosted me in June, who I've never recovered from that trauma. And anyway, he's tried to contact me throughout the years, and I really need friends right now. And he was always like very devoted for me. He did not want to stop being my friend, but I had to walk away. And he sent me another friend request, and I was moved by his devotion. So I accepted it, and then we talked on the phone for like 40 minutes yesterday. And he got therapy, and he has a boyfriend now, and like he opened a business, and he's making money legitimately instead of scamming. And so I'm gonna meet up with this person. I'm gonna make him a card that says, "Sorry, I didn't talk to you for 4 years." So at least I have that to look forward to. I have therapy tomorrow too. I'm gonna be like, Eli, I got fired yesterday, and like that's not even what I was gonna talk about this week, but it's kind of top story now. Breaking news: I'm unemployed. I am wearing so much makeup, but you can like see the blush coming through. Let's see, put a stiff gum in the card. People like gum. He really likes gum. I'm not gonna elaborate on that. Okay, I will. We went to Chicago like right before the pandemic started, and we were going to a Comic-Con. It was the C2E2 Expo. It's one of the biggest Comic-Cons in the country, and it was literally like February 28th, 2020, like days before the pandemic. And there were like 80,000 people there. And anyway, he didn't bring a toothbrush. And he was just like going around the hotel sucking different dicks and like not brushing his teeth and just chewing gum. So I could put a piece of gum in there. Sam Haynes said, if you have friends, you should treasure them, even if they're fucked up. That's the advice I can give as a severely lonely person. Yeah, I've been going through a really lonely period in my life, actually. Like when I left that friendship, it was a self-protective move, just because the chaos of his life was like bleeding into mine, and we were very codependent and like talking every single day, and it wasn't a healthy friendship, so I had to walk away. And then but I rebounded. And a year and a half ago, I was actually very popular. I had rebuilt my social life. I was going out 3 to 4 times a week. I was in a book club. I was in a movie club. I was going to parties. I was going out dancing. And then it all went away. All of it went away. Had apartment fire, had bipolar episodes. I burned some bridges. I scared the shit out of some people who burned bridges with me until I had nobody left except for old friends who I don't see very often and my family. And so like seeing this guy tomorrow, it's going to be kind of like my first foray into actual like friendship stuff in a while. Oh. I just can't believe they did me like that. Okay, we are this far through the bottle of wine. The wine is really good. Thank you, Taylor. I ate a bunch of enchiladas before this, and I also ate spaghetti. So I had a lot of meals. Don't worry about it. And my sister said, if you're sad later, you can call me. I don't mind a drunk phone call. And my mom is going to try and call me at some point here too. So, I don't know. I wanted the live stream. Don't mute your toots. I'm not muting shit. Okay? Actually, I had this really cute moment on Tuesday at my former employer where I like to take walks during my breaks because I'm trying to combat the Seroquel makes you gain weight, both as it causes like cravings at night, but then also the drug itself just makes you gain weight. So I've been trying to like walk on my breaks at work, And I have pelvic floor issues because I was molested. And it, like trauma, everything's tight down there, right? And so I have to take a laxative every day. As which another thing I'm gonna need because those pills are like $300 for a month's supply too. Um, and I was out on my walk at on my break, and I farted, and I was like, oh no, I think I just shit my pants. I am a quarter of the way into my workday. I'm just like fast walking back to the building. I go straight into the bathroom, and I didn't shit myself, guys. So I mean, I don't know why they would fire me. I didn't even shit myself, and I thought I might have. I did not shit myself at work. If I had shitted myself at work, then maybe I would understand a no warning dismissal on Friday. Oh, that's my alarm to take my medication, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I'm drunk. I don't know how much of this bottle of wine I'm gonna drink. You know what, guys? It's a special occasion. It's a special occasion. I got fired today. I can get drunk and not take my medication for one night if I have to. It was literally okayed by my psychiatrist when I told her that I was going to a wedding and I was going to be drinking. She was like, okay, just don't take it for one night. It's whatever. It's extended release. You're fine. But anyway. What am I gonna do? I have to find another job. God damn it. I just... It's so hard to find a good job with a decent boss where you feel like you can get along with people and where the work is not terrible. And I think that part of the larger problem is that, you know, I went back to school when I was 28 or 29 and I chose to study accounting. But ultimately, after being in this field for like 8 years, I've realized that accounting is actually really unfulfilling for me. I don't like the work. I can do it, but I don't like it. And I know that like having a career that you feel passionate about is a luxury that like almost nobody gets, but I wanted more for myself out of my career. I didn't want to just be doing spreadsheets and emails and talking about money and like just trying to get every single moron in every single department to understand their part of the process, because that's what my job is just constantly reaching out to people and saying, you didn't do your job right. The money needs to make sense. And I don't like that work. I don't like doing this. But it's like, what else can I do? That will make me enough money to live that I would be qualified for. Like, I just don't have an answer for that. Like, for a long time, I had this idea that maybe I could do social media, but I just don't have the audience for it. I don't have the audience to make money online. If Tumblr paid money, I would be able to live off social media, but I got popular on the one social media website that pays nothing. And like I have fans over here. Oh, my mom is calling me. Hang on. I'm gonna decline her call and I am gonna just quick write her a message on Facebook. Hang on 1 second. And be like, sorry, Mom. I'm talking to my internet friends right now. Let's see, Samoan says, get drunk, howl at the moon, fart loud. Okay, I'll I'll try and work up a fart for you. I'm gonna have to start doing spicy content again anyway. Taylor, I really feel for you, girl. Yeah, man. Like, having to work for money is just such a soul killer. And I mean, it's like 40 hours a week. It was one thing when I was selling furniture for $11 an hour and I was poor as fuck. But you know what? It at least we didn't have many customers. I could read books. I went back to school and I would do all my homework at work. And like I didn't have any money, but I had friends and my life was exciting. And now it's like 40 hours a week of just typey email bullshit that I every single day I just log out and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do this. You should, Rat Bat, you shit yourself at lunch once, but it was fine. Hey, you must be real good at your job. Rat Bat said Tumblr should pay you, the best blog out there. Thank you, I appreciate it. No, talk to your mom. Call your mom. It will be, oh gosh, Samoan. It will be a good sphincter exercise. Listen, you think I haven't been prescribed some sphincter exercises by my doctor? I sure have. I've done sphincter exercises, my friend. Do you know how they diagnosed this pelvic floor disorder? Okay, let's get graphic. Let's get graphic. I'm ready. Okay. First, they thought maybe I had it. So what they did was they brought me, they were like, okay, we're going to give you some tests to discover if you have pelvic floor disorder. So I go into this room and they stick a metal pole, not pole, a rod up my butt. And they were like, okay, now squeeze. Okay, and release. Now push like you're pooping. Now squeeze and release. Okay, and so they used that metal rod to discover the squeezing and pooping power of my butthole. Then they took me to another room where, I'm warning you right now, this is graphic, okay? They took a big syringe and they filled up my entire vagina and asshole with a viscous white barium solution that was designed to mimic the consistency of feces. Whole pussy filled up, okay? And I'm laying on my side as they did this, and then the entire table rotated, so I was sitting upright, and all of a sudden I'm sitting on a bathroom stool, right? And they were like, okay, now they were scanning my body to see the barium inside of me, and they were like, okay, now poop out all of the barium. And so I'm like, and there's like 9 doctors in the room watching me do this. So I'm like pooping white viscous solution while being scanned. And they were like, okay, now stand up. And they brought me over to a chair that was just a toilet seat with a mirror underneath it. And they said, sit on this toilet seat. Now try and poop it more. And they just looked at the mirror, at the reflection of my butthole and my vagina, as I was trying to poop out more of this barium solution. Then they just threw a towel at me and they were like, all right, clean yourself up. You go to the next room for your results. And so I go to the next room for my results. And what they told me was that I have been pooping wrong my entire life. You think you know how to poop, right? You think, you just assume you know how to poop. But it turned out that because of my pelvic floor issues, when I thought I was pooping, when I thought I was pushing, I was actually squeezing my asshole tighter. Okay? Imagine that. I'd been chronically constipated for 20 years. Because when I thought I was pooping, I was squeezing my butthole tighter. And I didn't know. You assume you know how to poop. And so I had to go to physical therapy where they would put electrode sensors around my asshole and hand me a monitor so that I could relearn what pooping is supposed to be. Like what it feels like in your muscles to release rather than contract. That happened to me like 3 years ago. Hang on, I gotta message my mom. 1 second. One moment. I'm just gonna message her so she doesn't think I'm killing myself. 1 second. I'm gonna say, sorry, I'm live streaming for my internet friends and bitching about my day. I can call you in about an hour or tomorrow if that's better. Okay. Yeah, wow, medical science has come so far. Yeah, I know. And apparently it's very common. And especially for people who were molested when they were children or like physically abused, because your whole body's like, you're in like a fetal position and all your shit down there goes really tight. And I was both of those things. I was M-worded and hit by my parents. So anyway, guys, what the fuck am I gonna do? Because like, I don't want to do accounting anymore. It's how I make money. It's how I pay my rent. But like, I don't know, I'm 38. Like, I feel like it's too late to try and like study anything else. I already went back to school when I was like 28, 29, and that felt crazy. That felt crazy to take out student loans and go back to school in my late 20s. Now I'm 38, and it's like, where do I go from here? And what would I even want to do? What the fuck? Why isn't this working? It says it's at 38%. There we go. Steamboat says, absolutely not too late. The market is more volatile now, so pivoting in your career is more common than before. Yeah, but like at the same time, it's like I would have to go back to school. And I'm not in a position, like, because it was like a perfect storm the last time I went back to school, because I was working in a furniture shop where for not full-time hours, like 30 hours a week, I was poor as fuck. I was living in an apartment that was the size of a boxcar that didn't have a bathroom or a kitchen. And like I was paying $375 a month to live in a room in an apartment building, and like it was 2016. Things were a lot different then, cost-wise. And so like I was able to go back to school then because I had the time, and taking out student loans represented a major financial boon to me. But now I have like a real apartment and the cost of living has tripled, and I have to work full time in order to survive. And I know me, I know my capacity. I do not have it in me to work full time and go to school at this time, at this point in my life. I just don't. So it's like I only know how to do accounting. So I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. Like I just have to do it, but Ratbat said, I do know there are other jobs you can do with accounting. My last company hired accountants to do software implementation. Yeah, and I've done that. I've done that as part of my job. Not that exciting, but I'm sure there's something else out there. Yeah. Sam Hain said, I mean, even if you can't make money off Tumblr, you could still have social media skills, etc. Those are valuable things to employers. Yeah. I just wish I could find like some sort of like communications job where I could just write for a living, but see if my mom read my message. She didn't. Whatever. I don't want to call my mom drunk anyway. She's already concerned about me. Like, ever since I had the manic episode and then the depressive episode, everyone around me, everyone in my life is kind of bracing. Like, what's gonna send her over the edge? You know, I scared, like, it's not funny. It's funny, but it's not funny, but I scared the shit out of everybody who knew me over the past year. Yeah. And it's like going to that wedding in Philly and then even talking to my old friend a couple days ago. Like, something that I like mention is that like I was gonna kill myself, you know, and I'm not monetized. I'm not worried about the stream being taken down. It's like I was gonna kill myself, you know, and like I really was. Like, I've had suicidal ideation in the past, but like I didn't even understand what that meant until this summer. Like, this is gonna take a morbid turn. I'm sorry. Trigger warning. I'm gonna talk about what happened to me this summer. But like, I like once the manic episode flipped into a depressive episode, I was so unhappy every single day. And I had like just casually like secretly stockpiled like 90 Xanax. Like 90 Xanax pills. And I didn't tell anyone about it. But like at the lowest points of my depression, when I wasn't even able to function, when I wasn't able to work, when I wasn't able to get out of bed, like I had to go live with my mom and my sister for a little bit because I was just not safe or able to take care of myself at all. Like, I wasn't eating. Like when I got into the mental hospital, I had lost 10 pounds over the past week without trying. Like, I wasn't eating. And I had these Xanax, and like the idea was I was gonna get a bottle of wine and I was gonna drink the whole bottle of wine and I was gonna take all the Xanax and then I just go to sleep forever. And that's not what's gonna happen now. Not a current thought I'm having, just to be perfectly clear. But like this is an important experience to me, and I feel like I there's no avenue where it's appropriate to talk about it, so I'm gonna talk about it now while I'm slightly drunk on live stream. You know, I just had lost the will to live because every day was so bad that being dead felt like a kindness to myself. Like, because one of the things about depression is that it feels like it's gonna last forever. And I was like, wouldn't it just, it was like math. It was like cold math I was doing. Like, wouldn't it just be better to just be dead rather than do this? And one of the more alarming things that would happen is that I would like, you know, because there are these like things that you're supposed to do when you're feeling suicidal, which is like think about your family, think about your friends. And I would think about like my sisters and like my 8-year-old niece who like worships me, who loves me. You know, I would think about them and I would feel nothing. I wouldn't feel anything. Like, inside my mind, I would just say, you know, they're all going to be dead soon anyway. None of this matters. Like, there's no afterlife. Like, life is meaningless. It's just oblivion after you're dead. I'll be beyond pain, and like soon enough so will they. So like, what does it matter if I cause them pain? And also, it's nobody's business. Like, my death, my exit from this world, it's nobody's business but my own. It's my decision. And like I would think this way for like hours a day. And I would fantasize about doing it so vividly that I could feel the bottle in my hand and I could feel the pills in my mouth. I was having like sensory hallucinations of doing it. And like even when I went to like live with my sister and stuff because I couldn't take care of myself, I hadn't actually made up my mind about whether or not I was going to do it. And at a certain point, I wouldn't say that I decided to live, but I decided that I couldn't live this way anymore. And so that's when I went to the emergency room and I just told them the truth. I did the thing you're not supposed to do. I just told them the truth about everything I'd been thinking. And that's when I was admitted to the mental hospital. And after I was in the ward for like almost a week, and then they discharged me, and I had to be in I was in a hospital program where I was there for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for a month. And at a certain point they got it out of me that I had all these Xanax saved up, and they convinced me to throw them away. And when I went to throw them away, I Googled it, and with a bottle of wine, I had like 30 times the lethal dose. And I did throw them away, but it's sort of ridiculous because I get 60 new ones every month. But I just feel like that's a really important experience that I had. And like I don't feel the call of the void like that anymore. It's still there. Like I don't know that it's ever gonna really go away. Like it's not at a point where I need help. But like it's still there. I don't remember which philosopher it was, but one philosopher said that the only serious philosophical question is whether or not to commit suicide. And I don't know. Anyway, kind of went off on a tangent about that. Like, it's a miracle I didn't die in the last year. Starting on April 11th with the apartment fire, I almost died in a fire. Like, it destroyed the entire front part of the building, and there was so much smoke, and I had to run in the middle of the night. I like ran out of my apartment, and it was 2:00 in the morning, just in a bathrobe, and the bathrobe didn't fit me, and I wasn't wearing anything underneath it, so I was just like running pussy out down the stairs, down the fire escape with my cat under one arm, and like my purse, basically. No glasses, couldn't see anything. And then I had to live in that burned out apartment for 6 months. And it was like the apartment started the manic episode, or it was kind of starting before that, but I didn't realize it yet. And at the time, I've told this story on live stream before. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm a little drunk. I'm telling my stories. Okay? I had been paying a woman to cuddle with me. I'd been paying a cuddle therapist. Like, her office is literally just like a couple beds, and she'll like spoon you. And I'm kind of like chronically single, but like I still have touch needs. That like my friends at the time weren't touchy-feely people, and like you can't really ask people to like hold you like that, you know? And so I had been paying this woman to cuddle with me, and at the last time I saw her, I was telling her about the apartment fire and all these other horrible things that had been happening, and she told me that she can tell some of her clients are having these kind of experiences because they have a demon attached to them. And I was already manic, and I like ran with that idea because I had always thought that something that, so random lore about me, I'm really, really interested in my own heritage. I'm obsessed with ancestry.com, and I've done a lot of research into my family's history in the United States. And it's not good. My family was here before the revolution, on my father's side only. My mom's side was like more recent, like German and Polish immigrants to the Midwest. But on my father's side, it's like pre-colonial, um, like Mayflower kind of people. Like there are branches in my dad's family that were in Barbados in the 1500s, and they are in hell. If hell exists, they are there because what was my white ass family doing in Barbados in the 1500s? They were called the Higginbothams. And so anyway, my family, like, uh, I've found records. They owned slaves. They participated in the Native American genocide. Like, I know these things for a fact. Like, I've seen the historical records. Like, I've thought about this, but like the most fucked up historical record I've seen about my family was something that seems really innocuous, but it's not. It was a will written by my sixth great grandfather, maybe like great 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 grandfather, where it was a will that he left for his children, and he left his slaves to his children, but the will was structured like this. It was like, to my son Samuel, I leave my house at this address, the master bed in my bedroom, the girl Polly, the fine china, and the set of chairs in the dining room. Like he was listing the slaves in between pieces of furniture in the will, and like those are the people that I come from. And I actually discovered, I knew that my family was involved in slavery at a really young age. I actually found this out when I was like 12 or something. Like, and I'm really glad that I did know that at a very early age, because even when, like, because I'm old, I'm 38. This was the, like, late 90s, I found this out. Before there was, like, a larger conversation about, like, white privilege and how all white people benefit from slavery, I actually knew that I had directly benefited from slavery because my family owned slaves, right? And, I think that, and something I'd thought about a lot was that, they talk about how there is this generational trauma for Black people that comes down from slavery. And what we don't talk about, I think, as a society, is the generational violence that has come down from the white people who were slavers. And that's my family, right? Like that kind of I don't know the right word for it, but the way that, what it would take for you to treat another human being that way, that kind of mindset, it didn't just disappear when slavery was abolished. And so those cycles of violence also came down generationally through white people. And my father was a very violent man. And his father was a violent man. His father was a Marine drill sergeant who had been in Korea, killed people in Korea. And it's just written all over my family, this violence, right? And so when going back to the cuddle therapist, right? She told me that, some of her clients, she thinks that they have demons attached to them. And I already had sort of this idea about being the inheritor of this evil, this legacy of evil coming from slavery and the Civil War. And those two things kind of like combined in my mind. And so I started like, at the time, I was like thinking that it's okay to use some magical thinking in your life. I'm an atheist. I don't really believe in anything. But like, none of this matters, you know? Like, it doesn't matter if you blend fact and fiction a little bit in your own personal mythology. That's how I was thinking at the time. So it's like, it's okay to use metaphors. It's okay to indulge in a little bit of magical thinking. And so I started to think about this demon as like, as something that was really happening in my life. And then things kind of kept happening that were like, it was like giving me this confirmation bias about this demon, where like my cat jumped off a shelf and almost blinded me. Like I had a cut like that close to my eye. I could 1 centimeter difference, I would have been blinded. Or you know, my phone, it just bricked itself. Like immediately after that happened, my cat almost blinded me, and then my phone bricked itself, and I'm like, it's this fucking demon, right? And so, you know, and I at the same time, I'm just thinking like, okay, this is just magical thinking. But then I was like, okay, magical thinking, I'm gonna do witchcraft. I'm gonna start doing witchcraft to exorcise this demon that burned down my apartment building and and is like haunting me with bad luck. And so I created an altar. The cuddle lady had told me that demons respect the game chess. And I had recently found my father's chess pieces that he had given me. My dad died when I was 14. Important bit of information. My dad died when I was 14. So I don't have much shit from him. He died in 2001, a couple months after 9/11. And so I found his chess pieces. So I made this altar where I like set up the chess pieces in a way that were like my pieces were winning and the demon's pieces were losing. And I spread salt all around my doorways, and I got a broom, and I was like sweeping the demon out of my apartment, sweeping the air, getting everything, sweeping it out the windows, you know? And then I turned off all of the lights in my apartment. This was one evening I did this. I turned off all of the lights and I got completely naked. And I was showing the demon that I wasn't afraid of it. So I got in the nude, in the dark, and was doing housework. I was like cleaning the dishes, I was like dusting things, all the lights off, in the nude. And then I was like wandering around my apartment trying to feel where the demon was and like to go there. Like I walked into my bathroom and I felt like the demon was in the bathtub. So I got in the bathtub and I sat down where I thought the demon was, and I was like, well, now I'm here. Now what? I'm not afraid of you, right? And then I went and I stood naked in my window. I lived on a very busy street, okay? I'm standing nude in my window as an act of dominance over this demon that had been haunting my life. And then I laid down on the wooden floor in front of this altar I had created, which was more involved than chess pieces. It was more involved than that. And I'm laying there, and I remember saying to myself, like, you remember that you don't really believe this, right? And it didn't click for me at that point that there was something going on with my mental health. Like, that that didn't do it for me. Like I didn't it didn't register for me that I was having a mental health crisis at that point, because in the back of my mind I was like, this is magical thinking. This isn't, I don't really believe this. But look what I was doing, right? Um and it was like this very involved fantasy that I was having. And really the manic stuff that got me to go to the hospital the first time was the road rage, and the public outbursts. I was like having public outbursts. I was like yelling at people at Walgreens and like having to stop myself from like just going full Godzilla and like knocking things off the shelves. And I was like road raging so hard that I was like driving 80 miles an hour 2 feet away from the car in front of me and just screaming at the top of my lungs. Like I would just get in my car and just scream at the top of my lungs. You know, I would be like swerving around pedestrians on city streets, like just in a total rage, like to the point where I had to decide that I had to quit driving for a while, because I knew that that was really, really dangerous and I was going to hurt somebody. And it was like after I had started journaling again, and I had written down for 10 days the things that I was experiencing. And I read 10 pages of my journal, and I was like, I think I'm having some kind of medical emergency. But it didn't occur to me that it was a mental health problem. I thought that there was maybe something wrong with my body. And so I went to the hospital, and I was like, I think that there's something wrong with me. And they ran a bunch of tests on my body, and like nothing was wrong. So they referred me to a psychiatrist, and it was at that point that I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. But that psychiatrist put me on a little bit of medication. Wait, hang on. Okay, I'm going to catch up on messages real quick. Right, Bat, thanks for sharing your story. I've gained a lot of understanding for other people in my life from your honest depiction of addiction and mental health stuff. Well, thank you. That is something that is a meaning-making activity for me. I want to be like open about it, because I think that mental illness is really, really misunderstood. And it's either, and I'm sorry, I'm about to be a little bit controversial. There are a lot of people who fake being mentally ill online, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate the idea that we're all mentally ill. Aren't we all a little crazy? No. No, shut the fuck up. Some of us are actually crazy. I don't want to hear about your seasonal depression. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But anyway, there's that. And then there's also like just the media portrayals of mental health. It's like romanticized. It's sort of thought of this sort of like romantic thing that happens early in your life, or it's like the girl interrupted, that sort of thing, or it's demonized, and that sort of thing is sort of fallen out of fashion. But like being able to honestly and authentically report what the experience of being seriously mentally ill has been a really important project in my life. So I really appreciate that. Let's see. If you think you're cursed, everything is suddenly proof. Yes, Ratbat. It's hard/impossible to logic your way out sometimes. Yeah, it is. I mean, if your brain is broken, if the lens through which you're perceiving the world is broken, yeah, you can't logic your way out of that. Sam Haines said, as a fellow delusional haver, thank you for sharing that. I still can't discount that it's demons, but I appreciate the perspective. Yeah. Well, in a way, like, thank God I'm not religious, because like, I think that, the religious aspect of things has prevented a lot of people from getting treatment. So just the fact that I'm an atheist and like those things are so contrary to what I actually believe, that's always been like a signal for me, like, hey, um, thank you for listening, Taylor. Sam Hain said, it does feel like being attacked by demonic forces, though, doesn't it? It does. It does. It's like everything is confirmation of it. Wow, I went into a really long story there, didn't I? Story time. My mom messaged me back. She said, you can call me tomorrow. She doesn't know I'm drinking. I bought a bottle of whiskey 2 weeks ago to have in the home. And I was like, I can control this. It's fine. And I did control it, but it wasn't fine. I was like, I don't really want to introduce this variable into my life right now. So I threw it away. But like, I'm honest to God, I'm at a point in my life where I can occasionally drink. It's really, really weird. After being a very serious alcoholic for 15 years and then being sober for 5 years, I can do this now. I've proven it to myself a bunch of times. See? Silene said, Silene, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. It really does help to have a first person account of what being delusional is like. Yeah. Because it's not, like for a lot of people, well, first of all, the experience that I have, I qualify as bipolar 1, which is the more severe form of bipolar disorder. So like I was in mania. That wasn't hypomania, which is like the, ooh, I'm up and I don't have to sleep and I'm so productive, and like that's actually a very serious form of bipolar disorder. But I have the more delusional aspects of it, which pushes me into the bipolar 1 category. And actually, I was actually hospitalized 6 times between the ages of 19 and 20, all the way back in the years 2006 and 2007. I was hospitalized 6 times between the ages of 19 and 20. I actually spent my 20th birthday inside of a mental hospital. And at the time, I was having delusions. I thought that birds... I was interpreting the movement of birds as like cosmic messages from God, basically. That I thought that the way that birds were giving me messages, like omens. And at the time, the internet was advanced enough in like 2006 where I could I could even look on Wikipedia, I think. But like I learned that there were like ancient oracles who could interpret, who could predict the future through the movement of birds, and I thought I'm part of this tradition. Like that's where my mind goes when it's like delusions. It's like omens and demons and that sort of thing. And they missed it. They missed that I had bipolar disorder because like I said, I was also smoking crack at the time. I was doing a lot of drugs. And so, like, the delusions I was having, I had to be sober for a long time in order to actually get a right diagnosis. Because when you're doing drugs, yeah, you might think some weird shit is going on. Let's see here. Silene said, I have learned more by listening to my schizophrenic friend and reading about other people's experiences than by studying psychology for 3 years at uni. Whoa! Hey, good for you. That's awesome. Like, studying psychology, like, as a serious discipline, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you did that, because we need professionals. But, like, yeah, firsthand accounts, that'll, like, especially if you're able to, like, accurately describe your experiences, it can be really, people don't hear it a lot. So, let's see here. Make a job. I love your casting couch. Also, oh my God, iconic. Thank you. Before I got fired, when I was still in a place where I thought I could spend all the money I want, I paid $1,500 for this fucking couch. I'm not gonna say I regret it, but I would love to have $1,500 right now. Let's see here. Sputja, 1957? I got diagnosed bipolar a few months after you did. I was like, oh, thank God, someone on Tumblr gets it. I felt completely out of my mind. Yeah, it's really isolating too. Like, because and I'm so sorry to say this again, but there are so many fakers when it comes to mental illness. There are so many people who will portray themselves as being mentally ill or believe that they are mentally ill, and they are not. And it's important to like actually have access to people who are seriously mentally ill, to make you feel like you are not just literally alone in this, because bipolar disorder doesn't have a high, it's like not a high rate of people in the general population. You're lucky if you know someone with bipolar disorder, if you have it, that is. I was lucky that my sister has bipolar disorder, which again, they didn't catch it. I'm sure that me being a woman had nothing to do with that. But anyway, let's see. Rat Bad. I didn't know you could have bipolar without hypomania. Wow, I had the wrong understanding of that. It's not that, so it's, you can have bipolar with hypomania. It's just basically, like, if this is a stable mood, hypomania is like this, right? But mania is like this. Okay, so hypomania is real, and it is a component of bipolar 2. But mania, like hypomania, is like I'm sleeping 3 hours a night and I'm so productive and blah 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 blah. And then mania is like birds are giving me messages from God. There's a demon attached to me. You know, like it's just basically bipolar 1 versus bipolar 2 just describes the it describes the intensity of the manic episode. Hypomania is still mania, but I went full manic. Silene said, unfortunately, I was too mentally ill myself to finish uni. I hear you there. I dropped out of college twice. Like, first I was like in the mental hospital, and then I like and I was like, I gotta take a break. I don't know if I can do school right now. And then I did go back to school, but then ultimately, the second time I was in school, it was my ADHD that fucked me, also undiagnosed. Like, you have to understand, this was 2009. Like, women were just not diagnosed with ADHD. Like, it just, you know, especially because, like, you know, women present so differently with ADHD, and I grew up with like a very, very strict and violent father. So, like, for example, in school, I was not acting out. I was not causing trouble. I was scared to death. I did not want to, you know, like, and like the thing was that I was always very smart, but I didn't get good grades. So it just basically was turned against me, like, you are bad, you are lazy, you are spoiled, blah 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 blah. But yeah, ultimately the second time it was my ADHD that fucked me. Because yeah, I mean, I've had bipolar episodes like a lot of times in my life, but sometimes there's a long period in between them, and I happened to hit one of those periods, like, after I'd been in the mental hospital. I like hit a more stable period and I was able to go back to school, but then my ADHD fucked me, basically. And then I lost all of my money, because that's the other thing too, is that, so like, I was poor for a really, really long time as an adult, but after my dad died when I was 14, he had money. He was a CEO and an entrepreneur, and he was part of the dot-com bubble in the late 90s. And when he died, his wife my stepmother got all the real money, but I got a life insurance policy from him. And so, like, I had a bunch of money, when I moved to Boston for college. But then I was like going to a very expensive private school in Boston, and then I had to go to the hospital for a lot of times. And then I went back to school and I still didn't graduate, and then I ran completely out of money. And then that's when I moved to Minneapolis. I moved to Minneapolis when I didn't have a dollar to my name, because I knew some people here. And that's how I started being poor. I had a wild ride through the class system. Ratbat said, I don't know how the fuck I got through college with untreated ADHD. I think my anxious personality just forced it through. Hey, if it works, it works. No, I'm sure that was miserable. I'm sorry. Boy, I can really just yap. How long have I been on here? I have been on here for almost 2 hours just yapping at ya. The wine is helping. The wine is helping. I wish I had some weed, but that's actually not good for me. Yapping is a gift. Yes, I have the gift of gab. You should start a podcast. Oh, God. That would be no good. Because I'm very, you have to be a certain kind of person to get online and just yap for 2 hours. And in conversation, I'm a little bit of a hog when it comes to the attention. I tend to monologue in conversation because I think I'm the most interesting person in the room. I'm the most interesting, smartest person with the most interesting experiences in the room, and everybody wants to listen to me. So who would I even have as a guest? I don't know. There are only a couple people who I could do that with, but yeah, no, I'm not gonna be a podcast bro. My buddy's over here. He wants to get in the shot. Say hi. That's him saying hi. He blends in with the couch. He's been here the whole time. Wow, all that yapping about my mental health made me forget that I got fired today. That's crazy. At least I don't have to do those emails anymore. At least I don't have to do any of those emails anymore. I can forget all about the specifics of this company. I don't have to remember the suppliers. I don't have to remember the internal contacts. I don't have to remember the buyers for the purchase orders. And I don't have to review the spreadsheet of the purchase orders that still have money on them and figure out why haven't we spent the money yet. And I don't have to pull the payment runs. I don't have to process the invoices. I don't have to upload anything to the bank. I don't need to wait for my boss's permission to finalize the payments. I don't need to do prepayments. I don't need to do American Express. I don't need to do expense reports. I don't need to work with any of these fucking people anymore. And I hated some of these people. I really did. You would not believe how unqualified some of these people in these office jobs are. I mean, morons. Morons. People who can't grasp the simplest things about money. Just working in these jobs. I mean, I was cursed. I'm drinking wine and I'm just gonna say it. I was cursed with intelligence in my life, and my cosmic comeuppance for being a trust fund kid is that now I have to work with the office people that my dad worked with, but I have to be the lowest paid person in the room. And I have to be smarter than people who are paid more than me. You think the executives are intelligent? They're not. Again, I'm not naming the specific company I went to that I was employed by, but I'll just tell you a little tidbit about the CEO of the company. He was, we went to a happy hour and he was trying to be relatable. And he told us that his son was marrying this girl from India. And he went to India and went to the, like, the gem and diamond portion of India and, like, selected the gems and diamonds he was gonna put in her engagement ring, and then came back to New York and had it specially made for her. And he was, like, showing us pictures of the rings. Like, we're not just gonna be like, oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting how much money you have. Get the fuck out of my face. Do you know how much money you pay me a year? Fucking asshole. Let's see. Going back to the chat. Hello. Sam Hain said, you're qualified, you're intelligent, you're connected. The next interview you have, you're gonna ace it. Oh, I'm cursed. I'm cursed to, like, get the jobs that I apply for. But, like, I've never been fired before. I think that's something that I didn't express before. I have never been fired before. Okay? I don't even know what that looks like. Like, how do I go to a staffing agency and say, yeah, they let me go because they didn't like my job performance? I've always gone to a staffing agency and said, I'm leaving this company because they suck, and I'm better than this. They didn't fire me. I quit. And now I have to go and say, hey, they fired me because they said I couldn't do my job, and secretly they're discriminating against me because I have a disability, but I can't say that because I don't have any proof, and also I'm not saying the company name, so you can't fucking sue me. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know how do you get a job after you get fired? Let's see, Steamboat said, reminds me of when my boss got drunk after hours at work and told us about the house he was buying after week 2, our paychecks bouncing. Exactly. Exactly. You have to walk around these people that you know are making, like, if not $200,000 a year, more than that, if not more than that, and you're just barely surviving, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and they walk around and they're so friendly and they want to talk to you and blah blah blah, and it says reconnecting. Okay, I'm live again. And you have to smile and be like, oh, that's so funny. but at the same time, it's like, you don't work harder than me. I work 10 times harder than you. You don't even know how to write an email. Like, my name is in my email signature. You don't even spell my name right when you send me an email. You can't figure out how to submit an expense report. It's literally write the expenses and attach the receipts. They can't figure it out because it's beneath them. Because they're so fucking busy schmoozing with other executives. That's their whole job. They don't even work. They just schmooze. And they have this superficial grasp of numbers, and they're like of the right age, sex, and class that they just have an in to the other executives, and that's their job. They don't even work. They don't do real work. I do real work. Let's see here. Ratbat said, you should sue them. I had a meeting this week with a guy who owns one of Martha Stewart's companies. Like, why aren't I helping you? Exactly. Dumb Box said, truly, most executives are just what they are because they ass-kiss their way to the top. Yeah, they come from families with money. They go to an impressive school, then they have a connection, and then they executive hop from company to company. It's like the guy who, and I'm not saying what company it is, so you can't sue me, But the CEO of our company had been like the CEO of another company and another company, and they're just CEO for a couple of years and then they move on, and like and they have, you know, 3 homes, and their sons go to diamond markets in India to make custom engagement rings. And I'm sick of it. And I don't want to work with these money people anymore. At least when I was selling specialty furniture, my friends at work made the same amount of money as me. And we did actual work. Like, I think that working is important. I don't, like, as someone who had money and didn't have to work for a period of time, working is good for you. You need a job. It's good for you, not just financially. It's good for you psychologically to work. But Christ, in the corporate system, when you see people who are 1,000 times less industrious, 1,000 times less busy, less involved in their work, and they're walking around with 5 times your salary, just happy as fuck. Like, yeah, I'd be happy as fuck and personable too if I was making $400,000 a year to sit in Zoom meetings instead of actually grinding. Fuck. I really don't know what the rewatch value on this live stream is gonna be. Some people go back and watch my live streams. I don't get it. I'm gonna check my computer real quick. I'm sorry. What do I want? I don't know. I want something. Steamboat said, no, you're right, and you should say it. Speak the tea. I'm unemployed. The way they did it was so shitty. 10 a.m. meeting with my boss, ostensibly to talk about my new manager. Surprise, HR lady is there. Surprise, we've been having problems with your performance that we have literally never communicated to you once. Surprise, you're fired today. And also bring your computer to the office in the next hour and 20 minutes or you will not qualify for severance. Fuck you. So gross. I know. Okay, guys. Well, I've been live for about 2 hours now. And I think I'm going to go. I'm going to drink the rest of my wine. And maybe call my sister and talk to her while I'm drunk. It's 10 o'clock now. And thank you for listening to me yap for 2 hours. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being participating in the chat. I've really enjoyed this. I really needed this. And I did not legally incriminate myself by naming my employer. So, I mean, what are they going to do? Find my YouTube channel with 2,000 subscribers and sue me? I don't think so. You don't know where I live. You don't know where I work. You don't even know who I am. You don't even know my real name. That's right. And I'm drunk. So thank you for listening to me yap and watching me get drunk on... Wait, hang on. Let's check the wine bottle. This much wine. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Silene. Thank you, Ratbat. Thank you, Sam Hain. Thank you, Steamboat. I hope that I have a decent day tomorrow, too. Hey, I got therapy, and I'm going to go meet my old friend. And I'm going to go to a mall. And I'm going to reconnect. And I'm going to yap some more at him and his unsuspecting boyfriend. So... Thank you guys for being with me, and I'm gonna log off now. So, bye! If I can figure out how to stop streaming.